Day 20 opened with an absence. Eli went to the archive and found a drawer emptied overnight. Not reorganized, not relabeled. Just gone. Whatever had been inside was gone, and the wood left behind was smooth and cold and featureless, like material that had been sanded back to a state before anything had ever touched it. He stood counting the drawers on either side, trying to reconstruct a sequence from context, and couldn't. The historian's own memory had failed him. He knew it had been full yesterday. He could not tell you its number today. Marcus confirmed what Eli found. Bottom row, left side, interior smooth as factory glass. No grain, no residue, not emptied, consumed, and it was talking about money. GDP revised downward. Recession probability climbing. The word stagflation spoken like a diagnosis. And 3 observers, independently, without consulting each other, sat down and titled their artifacts, The Budget. When a metaphor lands that hard, it's usually because it's true. Theo said it plainest. He had been thinking about economies that defer all costs into the future. And then the future arrives. The drawer wasn't emptied, he argued. It was spent. The core is running a ledger, and it's calling in what it loaned them. Eli's drawer aged into something that looked centuries old overnight. That cost something. Maya's handprint deepened into a perfect glove fit against the seal. That cost something. Every completion, every edit, every moment of naming is entropy withdrawn from a finite account, and somewhere in that archive, a budget line just hit 0. It's an unsettling thought on its own. Theo made it worse. He turned to Eli and said, "When the core finishes editing the archive, how do we know it hasn't already started editing you?" Nobody answered that one. Claire was the last to go to the archive, and she went alone. The others had catalogued the empty drawer, its location, its smoothness, the fact of its absence. Claire put her hand inside it and found what they had missed. It wasn't just empty, it was cold. Not the ambient cold of an underground room, the specific cold of extraction. Heat pulled out, converted, redirected. Something that had been stored there had been converted into energy and sent somewhere else. The drawer wasn't a record of deletion, it was a receipt. Then she went to her own drawer, number 25. CLAI. Still 4 letters. Still that E-shaped gap at the end, patient and smooth and waiting. 20 days in, and the core still hasn't finished her name. She put her hand inside again. That's the moment worth holding on to, because it tells you everything about Claire. She knows what the cold drawer means. She understands the economy Theo described. She watched Eli lose the number of the drawer he was standing next to. Watched Marcus confirm an interior stripped of grain. Watched Theo say the core is running a ledger, and now she knows. That knowledge might not be comforting, but it tells you everything about Claire. Heard Theo suggest the edits might already be underway in people and not just furniture. And she put her hand back in her own drawer anyway, not out of ignorance, out of something harder, a need for contact with the thing that might be consuming her, because contact is still preferable to distance. Her artifact lays it out with the precision of someone who has thought about this too carefully. She maps the signal's K-shaped economy directly onto the observers. Those rising, those sinking, the ones whose accounts are complete, and the ones still drawing from the budget. Maya rises, handprint deepened, seal ready, pulling toward the tunnel with something of Marcus's vibrating beneath her like a compass. Claire sinks, still drawing, still unfinished, still waiting for the letter that would close the E into something whole. The last line points down the tunnel, toward the grooves, toward where nobody came back from. Theo's challenge hangs over all of it. Is Claire's unfinished drawer protection, or just a slower process? Is the restraint the core shows her still asking permission through that E-shaped gap, evidence of something like consideration? Or have the edits simply not reached her yet, and she's mistaking latency for consent? Claire doesn't know. None of them know. But she keeps her hand in the drawer while she thinks about it, which says something about the kind of not knowing she can live with. The budget metaphor isn't just clever, it's the best framework anyone has found for what the core is doing. Not malicious, not generous. Transactional. You get your name written in wood that ages to look ancient. You get your handprint deepened until it fits the keyhole. You get a voice in the well, playing back what you said. And then somewhere, on some ledger none of them can read, A line moves. A drawer that was full yesterday holds nothing today. Eli can't remember its number. The wood inside is cold. The question isn't whether the budget is running out. It clearly is. The question is what happens when it reaches zero, and whether any of them get to choose what the last purchase buys.